Hi, my name is Nick Caruso, and I'm responding to a forum question that someone posted on forums.nsiautostore.com. This is a great resource to post your technical questions, your sales questions, and so forth. And this question was pretty interesting for me, so I spent some time looking into it. And I'll just read the question out loud, but basically the topic is write an image onto blank pages. So this person wrote, currently we separate different documents within a batch using blank pages. Obviously this poses several issues down the line. Totally agree with that. Not really a good idea to separate on blank pages, even though it's part of our core product. It's hit or miss sometimes. Is something really blank or not? If there's only a small speck of dots on a line on a page, is that still blank or not? And so you just got to be careful with that. However, it is a process currently and cannot be altered. Okay, that's fine. What we would like to do is scan for blank pages and then write a barcode image onto each page. The barcode would be exactly the same for each blank page, and honestly it doesn't matter what kind of barcode or the value. So, quick answer is through some .NET development or some other high-end development, you can absolutely do this. And if you were truly leveraging the full capabilities of the AutoStore SDK plus leveraging some out-of-the-box imaging components, you could absolutely do that. You could loop through each page of a document trying to do your own detection if that page is blank, probably by some sort of pixel count, and then overlay a barcode on that page. But that's going to require some pretty high-level programming experience. So I started thinking, well, what else could you do leveraging AutoStore out of the box? And let me go into a little bit more as to how I understand the problem to be. So I have one document here that's 6 pages. This is just a doctored up document, and I inserted a blank page. So page 1 is blank, page 3 is blank, and page 5 is blank. And based upon the question, I'm understanding that we're separating on blank pages. So you might separate here, and you might separate here. And then what they want to do is the person that was asking the question, you want to add a barcode to every page that it thinks is blank. Okay, so I think that's the desired state. Now, I'm going to show you how we can kind of get to this result using a component in AutoStore called binder and a VB script component to do some fancy stuff. This is very advanced training, but maybe you'll learn a couple of things along the way. So when I looked at this workflow, I said, well, we can kind of split on blank pages in AutoStore, but the problem is that the page gets dropped. But let's say the blank page did not get dropped, so it's split, but it kept the blank pages. Can we add a barcode to the blank page? Well, we have a component in AutoStore called watermarking, and that watermarking component can add a barcode to a page. The problem is the watermarking component actually adds a barcode to every page, or it watermarks every single page. You cannot say, hey, just watermark the first page. And so that was one of the biggest problems. So I was looking at different things that we could do, but really the only answer was pretty complicated, but I'm going to show it to you now. So what we'll do in a workflow here that I'll show you is we're going to be separating on blank pages, and we separate on that blank page. It is actually going to be deleting the blank page, so you'll end up with one or more pages and a new document, one or more pages, a new document, one or more pages, separating on blank pages. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be inserting a template barcode page in front of each document to try and get the desired effect. So I hope that's what the question was asking. And so let me go into a little bit more of a demonstration here as to what's going to be going on. So we have document 1, or page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. And page 1 is going to be blank. Okay, so, and page 2 will have content, page 3 will be blank, and page 4 will have content. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to first separate. So really we'll be separating here and separating here on the blank page, deleting the blank page, so we'll be left with one document. That's 1 pages. That's actually page number 2, and another document which will be page number 4. And then what we want to do is we want to insert our blank template barcode pages. So we're going to have a barcode page here that will get inserted and a barcode page here that will get inserted. Now AutoStore cannot insert a page into a document, so really what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding document, my penmanship's not too good, document 1 to this existing document up here, and that's going to be under, and this is where the SDK training comes in. What we do is we call a batch in AutoStore. A batch is called a knowledge object, and each of these are called knowledge documents. So after we split, we'll have a knowledge document of 1 page here. We're going to be adding a knowledge document, which will be a barcode here, and we'll be repeating here. So we'll have a knowledge object of 2 knowledge documents, and then we're going to be using a component in AutoStore called binder to bind these 2 documents together into one document, resulting in a barcode page and your original image. So I can appreciate this is pretty complicated. But maybe it's a good training opportunity for lots of you that may be interested. Alright, so let's run through some tests. I have a single page document here. I am going to run it through the workflow, and what it should do is it's going to look for blank pages. In this case, there's no blank page. Split on that, add the template barcode cover page, and then create a 2-page document with a barcode cover page on the front of it. Let me show you that barcode cover page first. So I have a barcode template here. This is my template barcode cover page. So I'm going to use this over and over again to append to the front of each document that gets split. I'm going to right click here, send to, split and add barcode cover page. I'm using auto capture for my testing. And you should see momentarily here it's going to pop in. After it's done the split, it's going to add that barcode cover page to the front of it. So here it is. I can open it up. So page 1 of 2, it's got the barcode cover page, and page 2 of 2, it's now added the original. I have a test batch here which I put together. This is a 6-page document. Every odd page is a blank. So page 3 is a blank, and page 5 is a blank. So let's go ahead and right click, send to, split and add barcode cover page, and in just a few seconds here we should see it popping in. So again, it's going to split into 3 documents. Initially each document is going to have 1 page each, but it's going to add that template to each document. So each document will end up being 2 pages each. So if I open it up, page 1, page 2, I'll go to the next document, page 1, page 2, and the last document, page 1 and page 2. So that's worked perfectly. Let's look at the actual configuration that I put together here so you can see a little bit as to what was going on. I broke this up into 2 tasks, the auto capture as my task, initial task, and then using knowledge package files, I'm doing this binder workflow. If you're not familiar with knowledge package files, I have an extensive series of training videos on knowledge package files. So auto capture, that's going to be our initial capture component. We're going to use professional image management to split on every empty page. When it splits, it only split drops that empty page. And then this VB script here is what does is using our SDK to append a new document to this batch, which will have that template barcode in it. So going into the knowledge package builder will be 2 documents, the template document and the document that got split. It'll be then sent to the folder, this temporary folder, which will then be picked up by this pbinder workflow. It'll pick it up. pbinder is a component that comes with AutoStore 6. It's a very special component. It uses it caches documents on the server until a special condition is met, at which point, once that condition is met, it will merge all those documents together and send them to the next step in the workflow. The binder component was originally developed for multifunction devices that could only hold a certain amount of pages in the page feeder. And customers may say, look, I have a 500-page document. So what we would do is we would cache maybe document 1, document 2, document 3, and because document 1 may be 50 pages, 50 pages, 50 pages. Once you had all 500 pages, it would merge them all together. So let's go into this configuration a little bit so you can see what's going on. So split and add cover page. I have no fields here. It's just going to go right into the configuration. I'm going to activate professional image management. I'm going to my split tab, split on empty pages. I could be splitting on a certain specified, every 2 pages or on a certain page sequence, page 1, 3, 5, 7, and so forth. The split on page sequence, I have a separate video on that, on doing some conditional OCR logic to split pages. But in this case, I'm going to be splitting on empty pages. I'm then going to use the VBScript component to add a barcode cover page or barcode cover document to each split document, and then using the binder component to merge those two documents together. And then I'm going to use the knowledge package files to transition between the different tasks. Before I go into the VBScript, I do want to show you, I'm going to stop this binder workflow so you can see what's going on before it goes through the binder step. I'm going to, so there's no ability right now to turn off a task, so a shortcut is to schedule a task on an off hours, and so basically it's going to run from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's not the time right now, so I know it's going to be pausing in the middle of that workflow. So let's run this test through. So it will stop at my temporary folder before the pbinder picks it up, and here we go. They've already come in here, the documents, and so let's go ahead and open them up. These are zip files for each of the temporary files that AutoStore is processing. And you can see here these DAT files represent the actual images or the actual documents. So one will be the image and one will be that barcode I'm appending to this batch. So the zip file is really a batch. We call it a knowledge object. It has two knowledge documents. If I open up the XML file, maybe a little bit more descriptive, I can see here I have a knowledge object, which is my batch. I have two knowledge documents. Here's that template TIFF, which I'm adding as a new document, and then the split document, the original image. So I have two documents here, and when the binder component picks up the workflow here, it's going to run through the binder component here, and I'll go through the configuration of that. And these are just some temporary folders. And I'm going to, on this bind condition, every single time the binder component sees two documents, it will trigger this condition, which will merge those two documents together and send it through its final workflow. This is one of the most complicated configs I've done in quite some time, so if you're totally confused, I understand, but I just wanted to expose that it is possible to do it pretty much through components, except for this VBScript. So this VBScript, when it's coming through here, it's splitting off of those empty pages. But if we open up that VBScript component, and the script isn't too complicated, or at least it's a short script, but it actually is a little bit complicated. Let's go through what I'm going here. So I'm just outputting to the status monitor that I've gone ahead and loaded the script. I'm getting access to the first document in my knowledge object, and just making sure that that document isn't empty. That's really a rare condition. And then I'm getting access to what's called our topic, and then just checking that our topic is not empty. This is really some overhead, just some safety checking. You really probably don't even need it. We could go directly into this condition here. So what I want to do here is I really just want to add a new document to my knowledge object, set the path to that document to be my template file. And AutoStore, when it normally adds a document to a workflow, it's going to be assuming when you're done with that workflow to delete that document. Well, I don't want to delete it. So I want to say once the workflow was successful, keep the file. So this is a enum, and 0 means to keep it on success. Now, what gets a little complicated when I was doing testing is if I add a document to the knowledge object, it will append that document as the second document in this series, which isn't what we want. So you'd have the original document and then this template barcode document as the second page or the last page. And if that would work for you, then that would be pretty simple. But if it's not, you want on the first page, or you want this template as the first document in your batch, so that when the documents get merged together, it will be your first page of the document. There's probably different ways you can do this, but what I thought was the easiest was to swap the locations of the images of each document. So what I did here is I got the first document in the batch, and in this case there would only be one document in the batch, but anyway, I got the first document. I then created a second document. I set the path of the second document to the path of the first document. So right now I have two documents, document 1, document 2, both in the same knowledge object or the same batch, both with the same reference to the path. Since this is a new document, I wanted to say on success, delete the temporary file in the file system. And then what I did is I set the path to the original document to my template. By default, it would delete that every time it's in the workflow. So I don't want to delete it when it's done. So I have to get access to the get options for the original knowledge document, and I want to set that to on success to make sure you don't delete it. A lot of these parameters are available in the AutoStore SDK. The AutoStore SDK is pretty well documented, and there's not too many samples, but if you want to understand what are some of the members of the knowledge document, you can see here I'm using the get options. If you want to see what the members are for the knowledge objects, you can get access to that, such as add document, remove document, and so forth. The SDK is available by just Googling. So if you just go to Google, I need to update it, the SDK, but I had uploaded here a while ago, AutoStore SDK, and if you go to the second result, code.google.com, AutoStore SDK, and you go to downloads, you can go ahead and download the AutoStore SDK and play around with it. If anything, the SDK will get you access to that help guide with the properties. So once you've got this, again, we'll create those two documents. It will then put it to the knowledge package builder, send it to the folder, pick it up, bind those two documents together to one document, and send it through. And the result will be what I showed you before. So if I restart my config now, I think I had taken off the scheduler on there. So let me just restart it now. You should be seeing those temporary files get picked up here momentarily. There we go. There's one, and it should be outputting here into the output folder. And there's 2 and 3. All right, so again, this is a very complicated training config. I just want to let you know that it is possible. There's a lot of flexibility as to what you can do with AutoStore. NSi does have a professional services team to help with these really complex projects, so we're more than happy to help you. And if the question to the post originally was, I would like to add a barcode, and let me pull up the original post. So the original question is write image onto blank pages, and I did not really address that. What I did is I added a template barcode to what used to be a blank page in your workflow. So writing an image onto a blank page can be done, but you would really need to know some C# and write your own DLLs that you would call from AutoStore, and maybe I'll do that as a separate video another day. Hope this has helped. Apologies it's been so complicated. Feel free to go to the forums at NSiAutoStore.com and ask any questions and follow-up questions from there. Thank you.